What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Neighbor's Kitchen. I'm Danny, and today we're going to do something that I had fun doing last year in a different air fryer with a different cut of meat. And we're going to make pulled pork in my air fryer, maybe. So first off, slight disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should do this at home, but I'm not yet saying that you shouldn't. So let's test this out. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I have no idea if this is a good idea. But hey, let's get cooking. Come on. So I did scour the manual to my air fryer. I do have a new air fryer this year from last year, and it did not say anything in there that made me feel like my plan is unsafe or going to void my warranty even. So that's good. So I have this pork butt, and this is the smallest one I could find at the store. So here is the basket for my air fryer, and fits in there pretty good, as you can see. But there is one issue, and that is it's not but a 1/4 inch right below the top of the basket. One of the things that my manual did say is do not fill up the basket more than 3/4 full. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to trim this down a little bit. We have, looks like it's 3.5, so 75% is what, like 2 5/8? Yeah, sure, that sounds right. So let's go ahead and get this opened up, and we're gonna trim it, and then we're going to season it overnight. This is day 1 of recording. We're going to weigh the new poundage of this guy so that I can properly estimate how long this is going to take. Let it soak in some flavor overnight. So I want to leave my fat cap. This is part of my plan. So we will cut stuff off from the top. I think what I'm going to do, I got my fillet knife out, but I think I want this as well. I'm going to cut, this is bone in. That's really going to screw with me, I think. Maybe not. If I cut under the bone, that might be exactly where I want. Yeah. Let's see. Well, let's just start seeing where it's at. I'm going to go directly below the bone. Sadie's excited. I'd like to cook up as much of this as I can. Yeah, it's a little shallow. Let's come over here. Right about there is where we want to be. Okay. Try to keep my hands dry. I don't want to lose the grip of my knife. I suspect I'm going to find the bone any minute now. Okay, there it is. There it is. Oh yeah. Stay in the shot there, guy. Just put this over there. Man, I'd really like it if we can keep that bone in there for the cook. That is added flavor. Oh yeah, perfect. And I'm just gonna cut this here. This was the side that was sticking out a little bit, because I would really like to make sure we get decent airflow all the way around it. Cool. Let's go ahead. See what our new weight is. 4 pounds, just call it 10 ounces. All right, 4 pounds, 10 ounces of pork shoulder. Next step is, how are we going to incorporate some smoke flavor into something that we're not using wood fuel with? So here's what I've come up with this year. Now, when I do pulled pork on the Traeger or offset smoker or charcoal, I'm not a big fan of using a binder. No reason, nothing against it, just never been in my back pocket. We're going to use a binder today, but we're going to mix into the binder some liquid smoke. That's going to help. And I got a few other tricks up my sleeve that we'll get into here in just a moment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of mustard. I guess we really don't need a whole lot. This isn't huge. And we'll put some liquid smoke in there. Get this mixed into the mustard. And you want it to be all incorporated into the mustard. A little bit of hickory. Oh yeah, that'll work. It is cold lately, so we're seeking alternatives. Let's go ahead and get this binder. Yeah, I see exactly where this is going to end up. There we go. Okay, back to spreading on the binder. We don't want a overly thick layer of it. Okay. We'll get the opposite side here in a moment when it is on cling wrap. Here is the pulled pork rub that I usually use. This is brown sugar, Applewood smoked sea salt. I don't usually use that when I'm actually smoking it, but that is another thing that we're doing to incorporate smoke flavor in our indoor air fryer pulled pork. Garlic powder, cumin, onion powder, black pepper, smoked paprika. Once again, we're adding some smoke flavor with that. And I really like chili powder. The only difference is I cut my salt in half because there is salt in the mustard and as well the liquid smoke, and we don't want to overdo it. So I cut this in half. I'll make that note down below. And we're going to go ahead and get this sprinkled on. Making sure not to use all of it. Remember, the bottom side is not yet coated or flavored or seasoned. Get all the sides. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to lay out a couple of pieces of plastic wrap. They're overlapped in the middle. We're going to take our pork, flipping it. There's our fat cap side. With the last of our smoky mustard mix. It actually smells really good. I think this is going to work. Get this spread out. Get back in here with our rub. And I'm just going to drape some around the sides so that when that plastic wrap comes up, it's going to really buttress that flavor into the edges. And now, We're going to take our plastic wrap and wrap this bad guy like a burrito with the tail here. I'm going to fold these in and up, in and up, and then bring this tail up like that. Fat cap is down currently. Not that that matters, but there we go. Like a gift of pork. In the fridge overnight. Not going to film this because you guys don't need to see it. In the morning, I'm going to pull it out for about an hour, possibly 2 hours before we begin. And I'll see you in a second, but I'll also see you tomorrow. All right, welcome to day 2 of my cook. I have our pork shoulder sitting out. It's been out for about an hour or so just to acclimate a little bit. I've got our air fryer here, the old Instant Vortex Plus, and our TempSpike Pro, all charged up, ready to go, ready to monitor the situation for us while we figure out if this is going to work or not. So let's go ahead and get going. So we got our basket here all nice and clean, our trimmed shoulder. Since nobody's invented smell-o-vision yet, I do have to describe this to you. It's smoky. I think the incorporation of the smoked sea salt, the liquid smoke, and the smoked paprika, already uncooked, it's got a leg up on the competition. So that's pretty neat. Now, I want to talk about something. I don't know if you can see, but right now this is sitting fat cap up. Now, if you go to your favorite flavor of search engine on the internet and type in, do you cook pork shoulder, pork butt, brisket, any cut of meat with a fat cap, up or down, people love to argue about that. I'm going to give you my personal opinion on when to put it up and when to put it down, because it's not a blanket statement, one's right, the other's wrong. When I used to have an offset smoker, I'd always put the fat cap up because the heat source is on the side and it is not anywhere direct line of sight to where your meat is. As the fat renders, it kind of capes over the meat, keeping it nice and moist. Okay? Now that I have a pellet smoker, the heat source is directly in the middle, right below it. And yes, it's got diverters and everything, I understand that, but the heat is still directly below it. So I always put the fat cap down to kind of work as a sacrificial layer. It will still render and keep everything moist, but in case there's a flare-up, in case the moisture gets out of control and there's a fat fire or something, it's going to work to protect my meat just a little bit longer than if it were on the top. So that brings us to what am I going to do today? This air fryer has the heating element up top. And it does have a fan that's going to blow it all around our basket. But because the heat comes from directly on top, and it's only going to be, an inch and a half away from our pork shoulder, I'm going to put this fat cap up. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's how I do it, and that's how I'm going to choose to continue to do it today. So, let's get this fired up. Let's use, I got 2 new colors I've never had before, so let's use one of those. I'm going to use the red probe. This is kind of our thicker spot here. So, yeah, where's the bone? You don't want the probe near or especially touching a bone. You'll get a false reading. So the bone's there, so I'm just going to go over to the other side. I want it nice and centered for accurate reading. And I know I was on the back side, so you didn't get a good shot. But on the TempSpike Pros, you insert it into the meat all the way up to the colored handle. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick it up nice and gently. There we go. There's that. We're touching there. This is going to shrink a little bit, but we got plenty of airflow around there. You can see. Can you see? We're about 3/4 up, just like the instructions for the Instant Vortex said. I'm not going to fuss with preheating it. And we're recording. Hit the air fry button. This is going to take some time. Yeah, just like my Ninja air fryer. It would only go to like an hour, so every hour you have to reset it. It is what it is. We are using this probably as it's not intended. But it does go down to 225. So we're going to start at 225 for an hour, and I'm just going to have to keep an eye on it, and every once in a while I'll come here, add another hour. This is going to take, I think, just under 7 hours. And I'll show you here how I got to that. I always estimate my brisket and pulled pork, trying to get them up to 203 to 205. I estimate them at 90 minutes per pound at 225. So this was 4 pounds, 10 ounces. First thing I'm going to do is get my ounces into a decimal instead of a fraction. So that is 0.625 of a pound. Add in the 4. So that is our total weight in a decimal times 90 minutes per pound. Now divide by 60 for the hour, and it's going to be 6.93, so just under 7 hours. So we're having a late dinner tonight, but whatever. So yeah, this is going. Our ThermoPro TempSpike Pro is recording this for us. The next step is when this hits 160 degrees internal, we're going to wrap it and then take it up to 203, 205. Here we go. All right, guys, so we are not quite to 160 degrees internally, but because of the ThermoPro app, I can see it's climbing steadily. And then I'll show you here in a little bit. I'm going to show you a few features of the app that I really like. I'll show you how I know that we have reached the stall with our pork shoulder. So we're going to go ahead and get this wrapped. It is currently at 154 degrees. You can kind of see there. That's how you know I'm at the stall. We're not doing anything fancy today with our liquefying our wrap. Just going to use water. This is hot water straight out of the tap. We're not trying to cool it down. We're trying to keep it moist. So just give it a good spritz. You don't want to overdo it. The house smells amazing. So, and the house is not smoky. It smells like barbecue smoke, but it's not smoky. Ready? First time I've seen it too. Oh, we got something going. Look at that. I'm gonna go ahead and just set that down. Transfer here. See about making a... Oh my God. This smells so freaking good. I'm going to do the same here. We want the probes sticking out. I'm going to leave the fat cap up, but because the element is on the top, I want to be 100% certain that all of my tails are below the meat so that they can't pop up and play footsie with that heating element. So there's that. This tail here, I'm just going to tuck it down. See what I mean? There's no tails on top that can pop up and grab the element. I'll put it back in. I'm still going to put my probe where it was. Place this back in here. Huh? Okay. We'll go ahead, just crank her back up to an hour. Every time I walk by, when that's getting low, I just put it back at an hour. All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit. All right, so I want to take a minute of this video and show you some of my favorite features of the new ThermoPro app. It has this nice chart that's automatically there, whether or not you're recording your data to export it. So you can see we're 6 hours into our cook. We're up to 171.5. That is another edition of the TempSpike Pro as they measure to the 10th of a degree. So this is neat. When you are selecting what your profile is, they have sub-profiles. So if you go to beef, it has steak, roast, ribs, ground meat, and there's just so much more options here than the previous version of the app. But I would like to show you my favorite feature. This is so neat, and especially if someone's trying to learn how temperature and time works when estimating how long something's going to take. This is a game changer. When you click here in the center, it pulls up the 3 hot and cold spots. So obviously, we're going for the tip to be our final temperature. But you can see how the temperature is coming from the outside in. So we have 175, 174.1, and then 171.6. So the internal, well, I can show you. So right now it's at 228 is the air fryer ambient temperature. And going in from out, you can see that that's all soaking in. So no, this isn't traditional barbecue, but it kind of is. It's still low and slow. Yeah, it's not wood powered. We're not getting our wood or smoke flavor from a dead tree. But I gotta describe to you guys how my house smells right now. It smells like a barbecue joint, but it's not smoky. My air purifier is not going off. We're still getting there. And, you know, whenever you're doing test kitchen stuff, you kind of got to take safety third in some measures. I made sure to read the manual to make sure we weren't breaking any laws with this. You know, I trimmed it down so that it's only 3/4 full like the manual says. You're probably not supposed to run this for 7 hours like we're on our way to doing, because I have to keep upping the time because it stops at an hour. But listen, last year it did the same with my Ninja. And every once in a while I just come back and you feel the cord to make sure you're not running it too long and there's no short. If it's hot to the touch, you should stop. I'm having absolutely no issues. So, yeah. And we got our base station too. We're at 172 and 228. We're getting there. Yeah, I love this app. It is miles above the app for the original TempSpike and the TempSpike Plus. So if you're in the market for a TempSpike, I would recommend the TempSpike Pro. So, yep. All right, I'm gonna bake some buns, make some barbecue sauce, and I'm not going to hit the camera on until it's time to pull this out. Once this hits our target temperature, I'm just gonna shut it off, and I'm gonna let it rest in the basket for at least an hour, and I will see you then. All right, so we have made it, sort of. I overshot my estimated time by about an hour and a half, and on top of that, I stopped the temperature of the air fryer at 195 internal instead of the 203 I was looking for. And I think I know why. Looks pretty good. Everything's safe, nothing's burnt. The only reason I can touch this right now is it has been resting for an hour in the air fryer. I think I put too much mass in my basket. So we trimmed the top off so that it was not too close to the element. And there's plenty of airflow, there's plenty of airflow here and here. But I'm wondering if what I should have done was cut some off the, maybe not both sides, but at least one side to allow airflow on all four sides. Last year, when I had my Ninja and we did the poor man's brisket, it worked 100% to my estimate. But I think the toaster oven style air fryer had more area in it, and it worked more like a pellet smoker, and I think I inundated this basket too much. We still got it to an acceptable temperature. 195 is allegedly an acceptable temperature to get pulled pork up to the temperature that it's pullable. Let's find out. Let me glove up. All right, so after an hour of resting, we're at 159 internal. It's still showing 102. It's probably because it's close to the metal. Let's get this transferred here. I'm going to pull our probe out. This thing did a great job. And here we go. This smells wonderful, and it is super pliable. Ooh, I'm gonna try really hard to contain my mess. There it is, guys. Oh, it won't even hold. It will not hold together. Oh my goodness. I'm trying so hard to get it over before it fell apart. Watch this. Well, it's already broke. There's the shoulder bone. It is effortlessly pulling apart. Look at that. Okay. Not mad at that. So, shall we see how it pulls? Oh, yeah. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Air fryer pulled pork works. I think the only reason my estimate didn't work is because I inundated the basket with too much meat. But that's why you cook to temperature, not time. If I pulled this off at my initial time that I thought it was going to take, it would not have pulled like this. This is... Well, come on, let's taste it. Let's stop wasting time here because I'm already really hungry. All right, so I made some homemade buns just for this. Let's take some of this pulled pork and get it installed. I want to make sure to get some of this bark in there. Look at that. You know, for indoor barbecue, that doesn't look bad. Matter of fact, I'm pretty impressed. Made up some quick barbecue sauce. I'm going to coat that on top. I'm a pretty simple pulled pork guy. And the only topping I need on my pulled pork sandwich is pickled onions. I made this up last night. Both the pickled onions and the barbecue sauce I recorded in a YouTube short form. So those will be available this coming weekend. That's pretty good. That's all I need right there. All right. What do you think of the air fryer pulled pork sandwich? Looks pretty good. Indoor pulled pork with a homemade bun, homemade barbecue sauce, homemade pickled red onions. Little late, pretty hungry. Whoa. Whoa. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. All right, one more bite. Hang on. This is so moist and tender. The texture is perfect. I'm wondering if I ought to take my outdoor pulled pork recipe down to 195. This is so good. The TempSpike Pro was a huge help in discovering new ways to cook things in new tools. This is so good. There's a smoke flavor to it. The smoked salt, the liquid smoke, and the smoked paprika really help, but it only is really there when I catch a piece of the outer layer like that, like this right here. That tastes like it's right off of the smoker. But all these pieces here, let me see if I can find one. So you're gonna see it on the end, but not the inside. See right here? Moist and tender and flavorful, but if I go and flip it around, that's where I'm getting all the smoke flavor. So guys and gals, it works, but it's not the same. Excuse me, one more bite. Wow, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. This has been a fun kind of series, I guess. If you're interested in year 3, we'll do this again next January. Let me know what you want to see. Unconventionally cooked in an air fryer. I am not saying that you should try this at home, but after I ate that, I am 100% not telling you not to try this at home. That was pretty daggone good. So, all right, guys. Shorts coming out next weekend for the barbecue sauce and the pickled red onions. If you need any cutting boards, they are for sale in my eBay store you can find below. And, hey, until next time, be well. I'll see you next week. We're going to do, believe it or not, this might not surprise you, pulled pork chili. See you guys. Have a good one.